A quick note before we get into the episode. Oversharing is a podcast for entertainment purposes only. It is not a medical podcast and does not constitute medical or psychological advice. Always seek the advice of your physician or mental health professional. Hello and welcome back to Oversharing. I'm Jordana Abraham.
And I am Dr. Naomi Bernstein.
Always great to be back here with you. I love the what they call on TikTok, you're sporting the clean girl aesthetic.
Oh yeah, I got the slick back. It's funny. It's very trendy in middle school, except in middle school, they do a part up the middle. And Maddie's always asking me to give her slick back, which is so funny. It's just crazy how the trends leave and come back. Like this was my look freshman year in high school when I had my baby tee and my Jenko jeans and my slick back hair in the bun. And it's back.
Everything old is new again. Yeah, you created this trend.
I did create this trend. This was like the curly, frizzy hair. Don't want to do it, but I can look like nice and put together if I just take all the LA Looks gel
and just slick
it all. Like they're using like wax, like hair wax, and they take their little baby hairs and like wax them all down. So I've got it, especially in the summer.
I have wax hot. Too. I bought that also, but it doesn't work on me. I don't know. I mean, I guess I feel like because my hair is so curly and frizzy that it like pops out and then it looks stupid because it's like
it sticks up.
It's
straight.
Like
Yeah, I've had that happen before where like I've been like on the way into someplace and like one of the little hairs like pops out and it's like there's nothing you can do about it.
And you don't even know until you get home and you're like, oh, there's like one curl just popping out of it's also like a hard curl because it's been doused in gel.
Yes. No, I've definitely had that look, but yeah, I'm in it. It's hot here and I didn't really have time to do my curls properly. I have the whole method. If anyone's interested, when you have time, the curl, like you have to soak your hair soaking wet. And then you put, I don't think it really matters that much. You put whatever cream you're using and you do like the prayer hands. Have you tried this?
Okay. No. Oh, so you really went, this wasn't like, I thought when I first saw this.
No, this is not that. This is like, I don't want to do that. So I'm just going to slick this right back and go for the clean girl aesthetic. But anyone who's interested, there's a whole method, a scrunch, it's a prayer hands and a scrunch and then a diffuser. So instead of that, I went with this clean girl aesthetic, which I like, except I'm prone to headaches. So
oh yeah, the bun is tough for that.
Sometimes the tight bun is not ideal, but
and you have a lot of hair, so it must feel tight. Like when I do a bun, it's like there's not that. My hair isn't that thick, so it doesn't feel that heavy. But I feel like for yours, it's like it's got some weight on it.
My head down.
It's a brain workout.
Yeah. So I thank you for appreciating it. I would have like the big hoop earrings if I wasn't wearing these headphones. That's another part of the look.
And your skin is like glossy too.
Oh, thank you.
Look at that.
Appreciate it.
Okay. So you're going to Hawaii soon.
Yeah.
When?
So we are leaving on Saturday for 10 days in Hawaii, 2 days to visit Uncle John in San Francisco and Willie, my dog nephew, who I've never met. And he is from what I see, he is a real snuggle puff.
You're in for a treat. He is like, I think we've talked about him before. He's like the most human-like dog. He just like snuggles right up to you.
I can't wait to see him. But yeah, it's crazy. I don't think we went to Hawaii probably now 15 years ago for like a delayed honeymoon. And I have not taken off that much work since then. So
you're taking off.
I'm taking off.
No, that's nice. I think that's a really good place to do that. I think Hawaii, I've been, as you know, I'm pretty well traveled.
Yeah.
I have been many, many places. And I do think Hawaii might be my favorite. It is like, there's something about it that is just so like relaxing. Like the air feels like,
yes.
Cause I think, when I was like, is this going to be it's so far away, especially from New York. I was like, is this going to be that different than the Caribbean?
Right.
It's, like there's beaches, whatever, but like you go and it's, I don't know. There's
There's like this whole super rich culture. The beaches are so beautiful. There's like adventures, like you can do like beach day, then adventure day, then I'm so jealous. It's going to be great.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. I remember going and feeling like as soon as I got off the airplane, it was like, because you're literally on an island in the middle of the Pacific, like the air smelled different. And it's interesting you bring up the culture, because I have this thing, and I had it last time I went to Hawaii, which is why I always wanted to go back with the kids, where I don't know if you get this sometimes when you travel, but I get a little like, I don't want to be a tourist. Like, I want to be one of you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I want to be you. I want to be like the brown skinned surfer girl, like living on the beach. Like, I almost want to pretend, like when I feel like I'm being touristy, it like hurts my feelings, but I am a tour, like clearly
that's who you are,
quintessential tourist, but I just want to feel like I belong there.
Yeah. I totally know the pull, I think, in both directions. Because on the one hand, you're like, yeah, I want to do things like the locals do, but like, I also want to see, like, I've never been to the top of the Empire State Building.
Right. Same.
And it's because I'm not a tourist in New York City, but like, in some ways, the tourists have seen more of the city than I have.
Right.
But you're never going to be able to live like the day-to-day life as a Hawaiian woman.
I know. I just feel like sometimes I feel like maybe in another life I lived near the ocean, or like I always just feel like I wish that I grew up, instead of being like a Jewish girl from Long Island, which is nothing wrong with it. It's great. I had a wonderful childhood, like thankful for all of it.
Mm-hmm.
But I kind of just wish I grew up someplace that was more like with nature.
Right.
Like sometimes I feel like when I'm in nature, I'm like visiting, instead of feeling like
your home.
This is where I grew up. This is where I belong. This is like my home.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever I go to places that are like seeped in nature, I just am like, I just want to stay here and be you and like walk barefoot. And
well, when you come visit
not
me,
in the cards for me, maybe next lifetime.
When you come visit me in July, we'll go for a hike and you can get some tick bites and then decide you don't need to be one with nature. That's what what I mean.
True.
Because there's so much like woods and nature and birds. I mean, I'll send you this video. There's Bird's Nest has like a baby bird. I'm going to send it to you now just so that you get, because I posted it on my Instagram. So if anyone who follows me, they could see it.
Oh, I want to see it.
It was like, I'll show you.
I have an adjacent bird nest story that I could just quickly tell you.
Okay. I sent you the video whenever you're
Let me see.
ready.
Here. Oh, wow. Oh,
isn't that crazy?
Oh, that's so cute. Oh, it's like opening its little mouth and waiting for a worm.
It's like, I'm kind of like, hello, I don't want to mom shame.
Feed this thing.
I don't want to mom shame, but I'm like, do I have to get in there?
Oh, yeah.
Should I call Bird Social Services?
It's like when someone else's baby is crying and you're like, I think you just maybe want to pick it up. Like maybe we should just pick it up.
Yeah, but I'm not touching that thing. I don't want her to like attack me.
No, and I don't think that's a good idea.
But isn't that talk about nature? I'm like, I am it. Like this is really.
That is like so cute. We also had a bird's nest right on top. Like they made a nest on the fan, like on top of this like sitting area outside. And we liked it. Like it was great. It was nature. We would like, it was high up. So I'd take a ladder and we would peek at it and see what was happening. And then I guess the chicks hatched because there started to be like bird shit all over.
That's what they say. Yeah.
all over our, like outdoor table underneath the fan. And I think most of the birds were like flew the nest, which was great. But there was one bird that was just sitting on the actual fan blade.
Oh.
And it was kind of like riding the fan blade like around as the wind, the fan wasn't on, thank goodness, but we were kind of like, maybe we should try to like move this thing, because if someone turns the fan on, or like it just didn't look like a safe place for this thing to hang out. So we're outside with the dogs and we climb up on the ladder, and Maddie like is just gently like trying to urge the bird like back into not touching it, but just trying to like urge it back into the nest. And it just starts like flying, like it didn't maybe know quite how to fly yet. And it's like flying, like it's flying into the corner. Like it's, instead of flying the direction that would like leave, it's flying and like banging itself into the wall. And Penny's out there and she's like a kind of bred to be like a duck hunting dog.
Right. She's a field golden.
So yeah, so she snatches this thing in its in her mouth. And we're screaming, drop it, drop it, drop it. So she drops it and it like makes its way into the corner and like kind of hides in the corner. And we bring the dogs inside and it looks okay. Like it looks intact, but it's like, looks like it just almost like got the shit scared out of it. And it's just like still in the corner. Mm-hmm. So we bring everybody inside and we're like, okay, let it calm down and maybe it'll like fly away. So I think I had to go to work. I was like, close the doggy door. Don't let the dogs outside. Then I come back from work later and Maddie's like, it's gone. Like it flew away. Like amazing. So, you know, I was like, oh my gosh, like I was so relieved because the whole scene was traumatic. I didn't think it was a great thing, but allegedly the bird left, flew away happily ever after. 2 days later, I walk into my bedroom and I'm like, something stinks in here.
Oh my God.
Like, I'm like opening the windows. I'm like, I don't know. Maybe Jeff took a bad shit. I didn't want to like make him feel bad. So I'm just like
trying to air it out,
turn on the fan. And then like the next day it's worse. And I was like, something's up. Spoiler alert, as you could probably guess, one of the dogs, I guess, ended up finding the bird, bringing it under the bed in our bedroom. And there's a dead bird carcass that had been rotting under our bed for 2 days. This is
not the Disney story that we thought this was going to.
I was so excited because I thought that it had like...
Do you still want to be one with nature? Well, as like you were on a bird graveyard.
I do. I felt bad because I felt like we should have just left it alone. So I felt a little guilty.
I think if it was like the runt of the birds, this probably would have happened.
Yeah, maybe it wasn't destined for adult bird life.
Well, that's the thing about nature too, is like it's beautiful, but it is brutal.
Brutal.
It is. It's just like, you want to be one with nature in terms of like you want to go swimming at the beach, but I think like the reality of most like things in the wild is that they are like very disgusting, very violent, and very like not what we're accustomed to.
Yeah. Most of the time, if you have like 6 babies, like only 4 of them are going to make it. Like we have that. I'll see the ducks in the springtime and I'll see the mother duck and I'll see like 7 ducks following. And then like 3 days later, there's like the mother duck and there's like 3 ducks following.
Yeah.
Like
it's where they went. Yeah. I went sort of like glamping with Mike, like sort of to be when we were, after we got engaged by Zion National Park.
Wow. That sounds awesome.
I thought so too. But here's the thing, like it was cool. It's like beautiful. You see it there, but I was so hot. This is like Utah in like August that I was like, fuck nature. Like put me in a hotel room. I
need air conditioning.
I cannot do this without like a sleeping pill.
Yes, I could see that.
I think we do want to be in nature in theory, but in reality, we might be too diva-esque for it.
That's true. I wouldn't. I'll try it for 10 days. I also would love if we would do kind of like, I'd like to go screen free while we're in Hawaii, but I don't think the rest of the family is on board.
So White Lotus of you.
Yes. I'm going to come out with a bag. I'm going to
say, who here needs money to be happy?
The rest of you will die.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's it. That's the trip. I'm excited to kind of disconnect, even to see for myself, like what it's like. You always have like, I have my patients always in the back of my mind. I have my group in the back of my mind. I'm always like thinking of new things. I'm sure I'll still be doing that, but it will be interesting to see if there's a bit of a, just a quieter mind when I don't have any responsibilities for that long, which I haven't done in a long time. So that's the scoop. Should we talk about what everyone else has going on?
Yeah, let's get into our show. Guys, if you want to leave us a voicemail, we have a voicemail in this episode. I love the voicemails. Get to hear the tone, even if they're aimed negatively at me, as you will see later.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I still appreciate a voicemail. I do not shy away from criticism.
I'm excited to see what you think of that one.
Yeah. We have a voicemail at 646-363-6294. Or if you want to email us normally, oversharing@betches.com. Or do you have any room in your therapy groups?
Yes, I do have room. Hit me up. Come check it out. You'll get all the information on naomibernstein.com. You can reach out to be matched with the group. I definitely have room and always kind of have rolling admission. So even if I don't have the perfect spot for you right now, something will probably open up. Yeah. So come find us.
Definitely worth it to get on that wait list if there's nothing available, because I feel like these groups are really awesome for just like connecting with other people and hearing other people's stories. All right, I'm going to read our first email. Hi, Jordana and Dr. Naomi. Love the podcast. I was looking for something inspiring and relatable to listen to and came across your podcast and have loved working my way through all of your episodes. Great lessons and advice for life struggles and trials. I feel like I've been able to relate to each episode in some way. Keep them coming. I've been contemplating sending my situation in for a while, but decided to once you introduced the Craft My Tech segment. It seemed like a sign. LOL. To give you a bit of background, I was in the market for a new vehicle back in February. I'm almost 30 and I've had my car since I was 16. My sister and I shared it through high school and college, and then I have kept it since. This car has seen many miles and was ready to be retired. Needless to say, I was really excited to purchase something on my own and upgrade to a bigger, better vehicle. Without hesitation, I knew I would reach out to my soon-to-be sister-in-law who works at a car dealership. Through the years, my family has been really supportive of her. My mom, dad, sister, and my husband have all bought vehicles from her. Even though it was inconvenient, my husband and I drove 3 to 4 hours in a snowstorm to go see vehicles at her dealership one Saturday. I had my eyes on one vehicle in particular, and my sister-in-law, let's call her Brittany, told me it was still available. We were almost there, and Brittany let me know the vehicle just sold that morning. Shoot. Come to find out later from my brother that it sold the day before. Brittany told him the night before. Sales tactic alert. LOL. I was still open to the other options, so I let this go. I test drove a few vehicles and came to like one SUV the most. It had some minor cosmetic issues and one in particular that really bothered me. A pencil-sized hole going through the back of the passenger seat fabric. I told Brittany, if you can give us something off the listing price for those issues, I will buy the vehicle today. I was looking for any type of small deal considering the imperfections to it. Brittany said her manager wouldn't budge at all on the price. I don't think she even mentioned the imperfections at all to him. I told her I'd keep looking at other options then and left without committing to anything. It didn't make sense to pay so much for something that had these visible issues. I mean, to be honest, what are the perks of working with her at all if she can't offer some type of value to the sale? She wasn't much help to me at all. The days following, we did some research locally, and my father-in-law sent me a vehicle option close by. It was the same SUV I considered buying from Brittany, but it was in pristine condition, a few $1,000s cheaper, and had close to no miles on it. Disclosure, it is a buyback vehicle, meaning it presented an issue with the first owner, so the manufacturer bought it back, made the necessary repair, and put it back into the market. I did a ton of research, consulted my father-in-law, and ultimately decided to move forward with it because it was exactly what I wanted. Financially a good choice and still has the factory warranty on it for another year. So I'm covered if any issue arises. I expressed this all to Brittany in what I thought was a very nice manner. See the last of our text exchange below. Okay, so I'll be her. You can be the sister-in-law, Brittany.
Okay.
Hey, after more research and learning more about the buyback situation, I decided to move forward with it. They disclosed all the information, so I understand what happened, and I feel like it was a good choice for me based on a few factors. I really appreciate all your help, and seeing the Rogue by you made me realize that's what I want. Love you. Like smiley face, heart emoji. Thank you for helping me in this journey. I know you had my best interests in mind.
That's a horrible decision. They're trained salespeople to sell their lemon vehicles, and the fact that you, 1, don't trust me on what I'm saying about them blows my mind, and 2, wasted my time is disrespectful. Thank you for taking money away from my family.
Yikes.
Oof.
I honestly was speechless after reading this. I was in tears. Buying a vehicle is such a personal decision, you know? And for this being my first time doing this, I was already emotional and worried about the financial investment. I feel like I was considering Brittany's feelings the entire time, and all she saw were dollar signs with me. She could care less if I found a good option for me. Not only was she shady with me during the process too, but has the audacity to say I'm taking money away from her family. I thought we were family. I have been nothing but kind and generous to her for years. She had 2 kids from another relationship and 2 kids with my brother, and I have been nothing but supportive and inclusive towards her and the kids, spoiling all of her kids for holidays and always going out of my way to make it convenient for her and her situation. This makes me think it's her true colors coming out, and I'm starting to think of her differently and second guess all my interactions with her. I just left the text alone as I didn't think a response was necessary at the time. Flash forward to Easter, one of maybe 2 times a year, all of my siblings and their families can all be together. And my brother lets my family know that they will not be coming because Brittany feels uncomfortable. Fuck that. You created this situation, and I was honestly ready to move forward and forget it happened. We planned an Easter egg hunt for all her kids and had all these gifts ready to give them. Side note, for every holiday, all they are expected to do is show up, and they can't even do that. The rest of my family always makes and provides all the food and drinks, and they show up late and empty-handed every time. It's just becoming more clear to me that we are not a priority to them. Sorry, I guess I'm still a little fueled. LOL. They didn't show their faces, needless to say, and it's sad that the kids lose out on a fun family experience because of their behavior. I guess this is why they say don't mix family and business. Let me know if and how you would have responded to this. Or if you have any recommendations on how to resolve this, considering we haven't spoken or seen each other since then. Am I in the wrong for not responding? Should I still say something in response? Anyway, I would love your feedback on this whole debacle. Signed, no amount of money can ever buy back my love.
Oh my gosh, that response was really, really harsh.
Really intense for how nicely. That's why I love when you get the text, because you get the raw materials. And like hearing a text like that, you would have assumed someone would have said something like rudely or passive aggressively. But I do think she was really nice and upfront in her message.
Totally. I mean, and I'll just say, stepping outside of it, it sounds like in the culture of their family, everyone perhaps like takes this 2-hour drive or whatever it was, maybe even longer than that, to go to this, sister-in-law's dealership and buy from her. If I'm being honest, I wouldn't have even gone that far. Like I
Same.
would have been like, your dealership is too far away. I'm going to find something locally. So she was even doing her, I think, a favor by giving her an opportunity to make the sale. Then on top of it, literally lied to her because she said that it sold that morning when she knew that it sold the night before.
Right.
Caught her in a lie. And I think I'm like this too when I'm making a big purchase. I just want to feel like I'm getting a deal. So like,
Yeah.
even if it's nothing over the course of whatever it is, 60 months of payments, if it comes out to $3 a month, there's a pencil size hole, if you could just be like, oh yeah, we'll bring it back. We'll patch it up. We'll put a patch on it for free. Or, either we'll take $1,000 off the price of a 60-month lease, which is like not a lot.
Right. Especially when knowing that she had driven 3 or 4 hours out there.
Totally. So her not budging, it's a two-way street. Like I drive 3 hours, you help me get a good deal.
Yeah. It's like you're doing her a favor sort of by giving her your business.
This is a hard one because now she feels like she didn't get to see her brother for Easter and doesn't know how this is going to be resolved. And to me, I think to you, I don't know if there's another side of this story. I'm sure there is, but
Right.
The way that it is presented right here seems like I think it is crazy entitled to think that someone is going to purchase a vehicle that's not in their best interest just because it's from a family member.
Right. Or that's a crazy argument from like a salesperson, is to be like, sorry, you wasted my time. That is like exactly what you do when you're in sales.
Right.
You try to sell things all the time. Sometimes they work out and you make a sale. Sometimes they don't. It's like if my real estate broker was yelling at me for not buying a house,
And
I would be like,
wasted her time.
Yeah, I'd be like, I'm getting another broker because you don't care about me at all. You just kind of you're thinking of this as extremely transactional.
Yeah. And I think her text tried to be nice. She didn't even throw in her face, hey, I got the same vehicle for like thousands of dollars less with less miles and in pristine condition. She wasn't trying to make her feel bad or stupid. She was just like, we went in a different direction. Thank you for your help. She had to drive probably 15 minutes to her dealership that she was at. she worked at anyway, and she was going to be there anyway. It was literally almost no skin off her back. This is, I mean, I find this triggering. She wrote, craft my text.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm being honest, I probably wouldn't have responded to that text either.
I agree. I was thinking that. I was like, I was thinking, would Naomi think that we should respond? Because I do think my mind, I would be like, all right, well, fuck this person.
I'm not going to get into a text argument. I think the problem with
responding. She said everything
responding,
she needed to say.
yeah. The problem with responding to a text like that is now you're just going to get into a text fight, which I don't think is ever going to go anywhere or beneficial.
Or like, I mean, you could say like, I'm sorry you feel that way, but that just comes off passive aggressive.
Right. But here's the other piece. So originally when she was saying craft my text, I was like, I wouldn't have responded. There's no text to craft. Like if she's going to come at you that hard, it's kind of on her to come back and do the repairing. However, sounds like now the listener wants to move forward like she did at Easter and not like never see her nieces and nephews again and her brother, which is kind of like, if nothing's done about this, I don't know how it's going to resolve. Maybe they'll just show up next time there's a gathering. But I think if she wanted to be like the much bigger person, I did craft a text for her on that was like just kind of not trying to really fix anything, but just saying, just like breaking the ice.
Right.
To kind of
say like, I hope we can put this aside for.
Yes.
Okay. Let's hear it.
So my text was, hey, so-and-so, I know we disagree on how the car situation was handled, but I would like to put it behind us and move forward if you're willing. We missed you all on Easter and would love to see you again soon. Like, we disagree. I'm not going to get into the details of it, but we miss you and we'd like to not never see you again.
I think that's perfect because there's really like, I think it's very hard to feel like you're a normal person and then respond to that text negatively or ignore it because it's just like very nice.
Right.
And now I think I think that if she's mad at her, which maybe she's almost embarrassed at how she reacted and won't let it go. And so she's like holding on to this anger so that she doesn't have to see them because she's actually embarrassed. Who knows? Or clearly she feels some sort of insecurity about how she's doing at her job, because if someone was doing really well in their job,
yes,
they would be more likely to help you without feeling like they needed to get every dollar and cent out of you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if I said to you, and I think I've said this to you before, like I have a friend, they're going through something. Could you, you're a therapist. Could you talk to them? If you weren't like, and they didn't like, and I'm not doing that because they're not paying me because they're not going to keep seeing me as a patient. So like, I'm not going to do that. I would be like, all right, she's like struggling in her career a little bit.
Right.
Like she can't, you know what I mean? She's very, and because I think that's actually a move that backfires for you and keeps you like sort of doing worse at your career, because when you do nice things or when you are helpful for people, they tell other people. And then you get like your own marketing. Like if her sister was really nice about this, she'd probably tell a friend who lives in the area, go see her. She's great to work with.
Yes. And again, you're right. It might be coming full circle. And I'm sure she's not saying this to her regular clients, but I've been in car dealerships or in these types of situations where you get the vibe that the person feels like you've wasted their time if you don't buy from them. And it's like leaves a bad taste in your mouth when you walk out of the door, so that if you do change your mind or you want to come back or you have a referral, it's not going to go their way. Like I've gotten that feeling, and I've gotten the opposite feeling with someone that's like, so nice to meet you.
Let me know either way. This doesn't work out this time. Maybe down the road, you let me know. Yeah,
totally. And that is the person that I'm more likely to want to come back, because I don't feel like I'm going to get scolded if I don't buy from them. Like that's the worst feeling with a salesperson, is like, I don't want this thing, but I'm afraid that you're going to get mad at me. And I can't wait to get out of this door and never come back, because I don't want to be like in trouble or having someone get mad at me because I'm not making the decision that they want. So this is probably a her issue. As you said, that text was so aggressive and uncalled for that I don't blame you for not responding. But if you want to smooth it over and be the bigger person.
Yeah. Taking money out of my family's, what did she say? It's crazy.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Also not true.
And she drove out of her way. Oh, this is so aggravating. But again, this is her issue. I hope that she doesn't like withhold her kids and your brother for too long, because that's over what? Like a 45-minute sales pitch that didn't go her way.
Right.
You know,
I judge her brother for not being like
standing up for
yeah,
this.
saying this. I don't know. I guess he married this person or he's marrying this person. So
Yeah, I do wonder, maybe that might be a good place to start with your brother and not fight, but just be like, look, I think this is kind of an agree to disagree. I don't think there's going to be, this doesn't sound like the type of person that's going to lay down and go lightly if you guys get into the details of it, because her perspective is almost so irrational, unless, again, there's something missing that we're not seeing here. So you might just be like, hey, I know we disagree on this, but come on. I love you guys. Look, let's not let money break apart our family.
I agree.
Oof. All right. Well, thank you for that one. That was a doozy.
Yeah. All right, let's do a Betchicist. Do you want to read this one?
Okay. Yes, I will read this one. Okay. Hi, Jordana and Dr. Naomi. So excited to write in. Thank you so much for all you do. I'm a subscriber and absolutely love the pod. I'll get right to it. I bought an Oura ring in January and have loved it. It's the latest model, taken good care of it, and I have had a good experience. It reads lots of health data and every day gives you scores on sleep, readiness, and activity. A few weeks ago, there was a glitch and I had none of that data for a day. I contacted customer service and wanted them to issue a replacement to me. It took some time to get the replacement, so I used my original ring and it worked completely normally after that day. I finally switched the ring yesterday, and when I asked customer service what to do with the old one, they said I should give it to a family member or friend. I asked around and either no one wants it or it's the wrong size/color for them. My question is it unethical to sell the old ring at a discounted rate if it's good enough to give to a family member or friend, but not good enough that they sent me a replacement? It was expensive, so if I can recoup costs, that would be great, but also don't want to resell something that will break the next day. Looking forward to hearing your thoughts. This is really funny because I actually literally went on eBay looking for a used Oura ring.
Really? Maybe you could buy it from this listener.
I will purchase it, put it up. I think you have to be honest about that it had a day where it didn't work and it had a glitch, and maybe offer some kind of if it stops working within 6 months or a year or something, you can refund the money. But I was down to buy exactly this type of thing. Cause I was like, I don't want to spend whatever it is, $500 on this.
Yeah.
Kind of want to try it out.
You want a readiness score. I get it.
Yes. Yeah. I want my readiness score, but I don't want to pay for it. I would buy a used Oura ring for sure.
Yeah.
I think as long as you're honest with the fact that it had a little bit of an issue.
Yeah. I think as long as you're completely upfront about exactly, you could like almost copy and paste this message into the Facebook Marketplace listing. I wouldn't do a 6-month like warranty or anything like that. Now you're like a business owner for this for this ring, and it just seems like more of a pain in the ass than maybe it was before. But I would just say like selling it as is. Here's exactly what happened. Here's the size. Here's the thing. It's at a discounted rate. If you want to take the risk and buy it, I'm selling it. If you don't want to take that risk, don't buy it.
Yeah, I think that's fair. You're right. You don't want to be like dealing with this 6 months down the line that they're telling you they want a refund. And
it's not like a car where it's like going to ruin your life if it's faulty or something.
Right.
Like this is.
Yeah. And it's a gamble that someone's going to take. I might take it because I'd be like, look, it's working perfectly well right now. If it stops working, it's not the end of the world. Maybe whatever you would charge for it. I don't know, $150 or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I think a lot of people would probably put it up and not even tell anyone if it felt like it was working normally at the time, which I don't think is like the ethical move. But like, I think many people would probably do that.
Yeah.
So I think if you're being upfront, there's really nothing else you could possibly do that was unethical.
It does sound like it's a good, working ring. Like it had a 1-day glitch.
Yeah.
Which I get. If you spent a lot of money on it, you want one that's working absolutely perfectly. But yeah, I'm a size 8. Let me know.
I don't know. All right. Good luck. Let's do some intentions. I will read this. Hi, Dr. Naomi and Jordana. Love everything you do. I'll get right into it. I've been feeling triggered recently by how many people seem to be using GLP-1s all of a sudden. It feels like overnight it went from something that only a few celebrities seem to be on to something a bunch of people I know are using. And it's been everywhere on the internet, from news articles to social media to podcasts. I just listened to the Betchicist episode. And also, there was a great New York Times article about how it's affecting the social practice of dining out when some of your dinner companions are on the drug. In the same week, I noticed a coworker who was looking really thin, and a girl I know showed up at a party looking skeletal compared to when I last saw her. Both shared that they're on the medication, and I've been spiraling about it ever since. I've been trying to lose some weight over the past 2.5 months with an app to track my nutrition and exercise, and I hit a plateau recently. It's been hard to stay motivated when I keep seeing people who have seemingly dropped weight overnight using GLP-1. The app I'm on has been pushing it, and I even went as far as to sign up for it, but then freaked out and immediately canceled the medical subscription. Worth noting, there was no real approval process for it, and they were happy to prescribe it on the spot. I'm not sure it's something I actually need or want, and I'm scared of how it might negatively affect my body, mind, and social life. I know it's the right choice for a lot of people. I just think it might not be right for me. And yet, I can't stop fixating on it. Has anyone else noticed how prevalent they seem to be? Is everyone, regardless of their weight or health status, suddenly going to be on this drug? What is it going to do to us as a society? I guess what I'm looking for is an intention to keep doing what I'm doing, focusing on my health and taking it slow and steady without feeling so triggered or tempted to go on GLP-1. Thanks for everything you do. Sincerely, obsessing over Ozempic. And just for context, we talked about on this past week's at Betch's podcast, Sammy, who is on a GLP-1. I kind of we did almost I asked her all the intrusive questions that one might be
Yes.
thinking. And she was super honest and kind of went through her whole experience.
Oh, very
losing
cool.
what she estimates to be I think 50 pounds
Wow.
on it. So I think that was a really interesting conversation, but I think there's a lot of emotions around being on it, the idea of being on it, other people being on it when you're not on it, other people not being on it when you're on it. So I'm sure you've seen a lot of this.
Yes, I've definitely seen a lot of this. And I think what it boils down to, interestingly, because we spoke, I think last week, about this idea of the area of your brain that's linked to doing things you don't want to do, and how there's an area of your brain that literally grows when you do things you don't feel like doing. So I think inherently human beings kind of have this aversion against taking the easy way out, that we feel sort of we
Must
should
suffer
be
a little
bit.
bit.
We should, this should be hard. I need to kind of suffer through this. And I do think it depends on what you're taking this for, right? I'm not a medical doctor. So it seems from what I hear that it's pretty safe. You don't hear a lot of people getting really sick or having extreme side effects other than nausea for the first few days. And, maybe you feel a little icky, or you have to be careful with how much you're taking or whatever. But it does seem a lot of people are taking it because it works well. It works quickly. It actually can be healthy for you if it's actually making you lose the weight that's not healthy. So whatever the drawbacks are probably outweighed by the fact that you are lowering your blood sugar and doing all these things that are really good for you. And it makes you feel better about yourself, and maybe clears a little space in your mind from negative body talk, and does all these really great things. But what it's not doing is teaching you to do hard things. It's not helping you build resilience or willpower or intention or any of these other things that I think are going to end up serving you in a different way.
Right. Well, I think it's tough because sometimes I think of the comparison to sort of the judgment or the feeling around people who maybe want to take it but don't want to take it, that kind of mental push and pull. I think of it a little bit like antidepressants, which I think a lot of people have a similar feeling about of
Yep.
I don't want to take the easy way out. I don't want to mask my symptoms with a pill. I want to, I should, the real resilient, better thing to do for me holistically is to work through these issues. But then sometimes that creates a stigma against those things where it's where's the line between I really need this and it doesn't matter because it's making me feel better anyway. I guess I think that's a little bit hard to untangle. And I guess with with GLP-1s, it's a little, obviously it's a little more external than
Yes.
someone feeling like you're happier or less depressed or something like that. It's much more like there's a much bigger superficial element to it. So I think that compounds on that.
Totally. Yeah. And it does feel, I agree. And I think people do feel this way about antidepressants. Like I always say, an antidepressant can just be like a crutch to get you to where you want to be. And I do think I have seen some patients use GLP-1s in the same way. Like take it for a while, kind of get a reset in terms of knowing what to eat, how much to eat, quieting the food noise, and like learning to live a life that's not, based on what should I eat, what shouldn't I eat, how much should I eat? And then you end up thinking about food all day and you end up overeating. And, people get into routines with food that they can break with something like this. So I do think that it can be like an aid that can help you learn how to get into a routine of a healthy lifestyle and then maybe come off of it. Do I think you're going to maintain all of your weight loss if you come off of it? Probably not. But I think you can maybe make some changes based on knowing what what like a portion controlled lifestyle looks like.
Right.
But I think that debate is big. Like, why do I need to suffer if there's an easier pathway? And holistic sounds better, right? Like, I could do this on my own. But if you're trying and trying and trying for years, and there are people that have just struggled with weight their entire life and they've tried and tried and tried.
Yeah. And I agree. I think there shouldn't be like a stigma around it, but I think that like there is a lot of, morality that's placed on weight loss or weight gain. And it's hard to uncouple that, I'm sure, from yourself. And for you and I don't think that like our relationship with food has been unhealthy. So I don't know if, at least I'll speak for myself. Like from when I look at it, I'm like, if it helps someone and they feel better from it, like I almost think about it like Botox. Like, should I just accept that there's a wrinkle on my forehead that I just don't like it there? Like it's annoying me, but like the better thing to do for like, of course, my like, if I were like super zen and could ride that uncomfortable feeling, I could do that, but I could also just get rid of it and then never think about it again.
Right.
And then not think about if anyone else is thinking about it again.
Right.
And so it's tough when I guess you have that option with so many things, but there are like everything that we think of as standard practice now, no one else used to have. Like now you can Google the answer to anything on the internet, and you used to just kind of have to deal with not knowing. But like, is the solution to not use your phone?
Right.
I don't know. I think it's like if she because it sounds like, and what she's doing is she's made appointments and then she's canceled them. So part of this is obviously her feeling of like, should I just do it?
Yeah. I think if you look at this as a whole wellness journey, like if you were it's not just about losing weight. Like if you were, I don't know, wearing a virtual reality headset, like that movie Shallow Hal.
Yeah.
Right. Like if you just like didn't know that you didn't like your body, you looked at your body, you liked it, you would take that, you would feel better is the idea, right? You would just like walk through your life feeling better about yourself. And ideally, you would use that wellness to just be a better person, show up in a better way. We talk about jealousy, right? Like a lot of times the roots of jealousy are your own insecurity, not feeling good about yourself. Then you show up in the world in a way that feels like I'm going to like hate on you because I know you lost weight taking this drug and that's not fair. Or I'm going to hate on you because you have what looks like a perfect body and I don't like my own body. So I'm going to not like maybe be my best self because my mind is filled with this like negative self-talk and critical body image voice in my mind. So I think if you're going to do it, it might be nice to be like, okay, and this is what I say to patients sometimes, like, okay, when this is gone, I no longer have this. I mean, so many people, their whole life from the time they're like 10, have this running dialogue in their mind every day about not liking their body. What am I going to eat? Feeling guilty about what they're going to eat and not eat. It's almost like if you just were free of that, what would you do? What would you think about instead? And maybe you can say, hey, you know what? I'm going to do this. Maybe it's the easy way out, but I'm going to take all this free mental space and use it for something good, to spread some joy, to like focus on something else, to, I don't know, do something good for my community. There's so much space in your mind for some people that's absorbed with this. Like I always love the line in Forrest Gump. Do you remember that movie when he like invests in Apple
Yeah.
back in whenever?
Yeah.
And he gets the letter and he goes, oh, great. I realize like, money is just one less thing I have to worry about.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
And
true.
it's almost like, okay, my body is just one less thing I have to worry about.
Yeah. It reminds me for some reason of like our initial talk here where we're talking about nature, right? Because I think the idea of like wanting to be in nature is like, I want to be natural. I want to be doing things the way, like wildly the way that like God intended or whoever, or you know what I mean? Like I want to be like close to doing things as uninterrupted by like human stuff as possible. And I think that's where this resistance to take any of these things feels like. But I mean, we also just talked about how uncomfortable and disgusting nature is. So it's like, so there is a part of it that's like, yeah, like we could all be natural and be shitting in the woods, but like we don't have to do that anymore.
Right.
Like we don't have to do that. So why are we going to do that? To show that we can, because to be more natural. I mean, again, I'm not saying everyone should go and take this thing, but I think it does lead into what you were just saying.
Right. And it's putting us in our human culture in this moment in time in such a difficult situation, because it's like, if we were really living in nature, we wouldn't need GLP-1s because there wouldn't be like eating out and, saturated fats and fried food and oil and fast food and all the crap that we eat that's so tempting all day that we'd be eating nuts and berries and like dead rabbits cooked over an open fire, and we wouldn't need any. So it's almost like we're in this spot where we have access to all these like human things, but yet we're still trying to be supernatural in a way that feels like we're, martyrs. So I get it. It's a really,
it's like AI, why would I write my essay and not have AI finesse it if that is available to me?
Yes. Yeah. So it's like you're fighting against the culture that we're in, but only in certain ways. And it does, I'm glad that she brought this up. Look, I do have a leaning of like, if this is going to quiet your mind and allow you to enjoy your life, then go for it. If your doctor is telling you that it's healthy, I do think it would be good, instead of getting it from some online person that's not even seeing you, doesn't even know how much you weigh, if you even need this.
Go to a real doctor. Yeah.
Yes. I would go to a real doctor that's going to, at the very least, do like a virtual appointment and, check on whatever it is that they need to check on to make sure this is safe for you. But if they determine it's safe for you, go into it as part of a larger wellness journey. I bring up like the virtual reality thing of like, it's not your body that's bothering you. It's your mindset about your body that's bothering you. So if you clear your mindset about your body, then what are you just going to turn your mindset into the next thing that's going to bother you about? Oh, now you're going to focus on the wrinkles, or now you're going to focus on something else that's upsetting you. But if you go into it intentionally with like, I want this to be part of a whole wellness journey that I'm on, to be healthy in mind and healthy in body, then I think it could be a great thing. But if you don't want to do it, I think there is something to be said about learning how to do hard things, learning how to be resilient, because this is one thing that now, as of the last few years, we do have more control over than we did in the past, but there's still many things we don't have control over. And we do need to learn how to, tolerate the discomfort and be resilient around those things, whether it's health or death or, just all the things, relationships not working out, people not liking you, anything that happens in life that we don't have control over. If you don't practice being uncomfortable, everything's going to feel devastating.
Agreed.
I'm writing this because she's saying she doesn't want to go on it and she wants to feel, more convicted in that decision. So the intention that I wrote for her is my journey to wellness is about more than just weight loss. Learning to do hard things and trusting in my resilience will serve me all my life. Because if this was just about weight loss, she would take it.
Right.
It's, I think, something more about like character building and resilience and like a larger path to happiness and wellness than just losing weight.
I agree. All right. Good luck. Let us know how this goes.
Yeah.
No judgment over here. Let's do some triggers. Our first one is a voicemail, and it is aimed at me. So
yeah, take it.
Let's roll the tape.
Hi, Jordana and Dr. Naomi. I'm calling about a recent trigger, actually by Jordana in her most recent Do Up podcast, where she asked if veterinarians are actually doctors. As a veterinarian who's also a specialist, I'm definitely a little triggered by this. I do think it wasn't coming from the area of being offensive. That definitely feels offensive to me because you do have a large platform on your podcast, and it just feels very condescending to my training. Veterinary school is just as hard, if not harder, to get into as medical school. We go through the same intensive training of 4 years of academic training where we learn about multiple species at the same depth and specificity as with people, but we have to learn about it for multiple species. And then we do internships and residencies when we become specialists. So I would argue any, profession where you're routinely addressing them as doctors, like Dr. Naomi, are really doctors. So I just did feel a little triggered by that. And I understand where she's coming from. I think Ronnie is basically her child. And as a veterinarian, I think bedside manner is definitely super important. It sounds like the vet she had was trying to give her valuable information, but the way he delivered it probably wasn't received well. Purebred dogs unfortunately do come with a lot of genetic diseases that breeders don't always breed out for. They're not all created equally in terms of breeders who do due diligence and do things like blood work and genetic testing for their dogs before they breed them. So things like food is really important for puppies. So I'm pretty sure Ronnie is a purebred golden retriever. If you're feeding your dog grain-free diet, they're actually prone to heart disease, and not a lot of owners know that. They think grain-free is healthier for their pet. They want to feed them the best. So I think it's just about, finding the right vet for you that works. But I definitely was a little triggered when she was kind of belittling my training. And I'm really glad she didn't name the veterinarian or the office that she goes to, just because veterinarians are actually very bullied by the online community. People sometimes have to get police involved because people protest their hospitals, and we also have actually the highest suicide rate out of any profession. So I just wanted to mention that and put that out there.
Okay. Well, I want to start off by apologizing. I'm an idiot. I don't know anything, obviously. I'm a podcaster. I have no real skills in the real world. So you're a veterinarian. I totally understand. You're 100 times smarter than me. And you are a real doctor if you are a veterinarian. I apologize for saying that. I mean, I'm talking to Jared on You Up, and it is a comedy show. And so
Right.
I'm talking shit about this for veterinarian in particular. And so I'm trying to say something mean about veterinarians in general, but really that's just stemming from me being scared, why am I saying the triggering things? I'm scared of, I don't like what he told me.
Yeah.
And so I felt like I had to demean, his knowledge to convince myself that what he was saying is not true. And so that's where I'm coming from. Like an insecurity of mine, obviously. And again, a distrust of doctors, which I've mentioned before, but that is a personal thing, not a mark on the entire industry. So I could see why someone would be triggered by that. Again, if anyone doesn't have a real job, it's me.
Yeah. Veterinarians, it's so funny because I always think about it because every kid, not every kid, but so many kids, if you ask a kid between the ages of 5 and 14 what they want to be when they grow up, they'll say a veterinarian, because it's who doesn't love the idea of working with animals all day? But it's really hard to do. So not many people actually get to do it. I know, I totally agree that you have to be super smart and knowledgeable. And yeah, you were heated, I think, in the moment. So you were probably a little bit, yeah, just like kind of hating on him because he was telling you something that was really triggering. And you're trying to entertain people and be funny. And
Right.
that is the hardest thing. Like I tell my kids, because like whenever they make a joke, I'm like, it's easy to be funny and be mean.
Is
It's
it that easy? I think I've
it's
worked at it for a while. I think I've put a lot of training into that. 4 years of me making
really offensive
Yeah,
jokes
yeah.
and getting horrible feedback.
Yes.
No, like it is much harder to be funny without hurting someone's feelings or being mean. And especially when you're like worked up and amped up, your filter for that is going to be the first thing probably to go. And you're going to be funny, maybe at the expense of someone
Yes.
else, because you're just not really thinking about who's on the other side of it. But
Of course.
I love that you apologize. That's nice.
And it's easier to be mean when I don't have to look at someone in the face. I would never say any of the things I said on that podcast to that vet's face. Just
Right.
like the mean things that people write about me in reviews or comments, they would never say to
Never.
my face.
Yes.
So I totally get being triggered. If I were looking at her in the face, I would say sorry, and I would never have said that out loud. You also just kind of like are not thinking about, I guess, the offensiveness that people could take that to. I could totally see on her end why she'd be like, fuck this bitch. But
Yeah.
so I apologize. I'll give it a high rating too. I'll give it like a, I didn't know that thing about the suicide rate. I really wonder why. I would have imagined it would have been lower. I feel like people love animals.
Yeah, you know what? It's funny because I do think exactly what you experienced. Yours, I think, was on a lower level than what most vets, part of their job is like, because animals only live whatever it is between like 8 and 17, 16 years, however long most pets live. Veterinarians are dealing with a lot of end of life issues with
Mhm.
animals, and it's also their job, and it's not covered unless you have pet insurance. Like, people are paying out of pocket, so it's like this perfect storm of like, I'm losing my best friend and you're charging me money to keep them alive. And that feels really like, feels like, I'll say in quotes, I'm being taken advantage of at a time when I'm vulnerable. Plus, just being with patients through the grief process of like losing their pets. And it's so easy, I think, for people to blame the vet because you don't
Yeah.
really know them that well. Even when Ralph died, and Ralphie was my, like my spirit animal that I had when I was like in my early 20s, like single, kind of struggling with all the early 20s stuff. And when he died, I was really angry with my vet. Like, I didn't love the way I felt like he was cold and calloused, and I didn't like the way he handled it. And even to this day, putting him down was like one of the saddest
Oh.
moments of my life, like being there and like, watching him like take his last breath. It was like really, 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 really painful. And it's so easy to want to get angry at somebody in that moment, and they're the only ones there.
Right.
So I know you're not at that stage, but I do think someone like insulting him or making you feel like you didn't make a good choice or you're not doing everything perfectly, they're just like an easy
Target.
target.
Yeah, for sure. I'm sure like a pediatrician or someone feels the same way, but maybe even not as much because like you said, there's the end of life situation that they're seeing a lot. So I apologize. Didn't mean to add on to what sounds like it might be a difficult profession.
Totally. I was not aware of that, but once I started thinking about it, I'm like, this kind of makes sense. Like, grief, you're dealing with people going through grief or just being scared because their pets are sick or feeling like I could have done something differently. And yeah, so yeah, next time one of the kids talks about wanting to be a vet, I'll let them know, A, you're probably not going to get into vet school. B, you might be bullied, cyber bullied when you get there. So
Yeah.
maybe you should pick something else.
Yeah. Well, I apologize. I'll give this a 6.5
Yeah.
but only because I think we were like, again, I think it was pretty clear we were joking, but I could see why it wouldn't be. Even if it was a joke, it wasn't funny. 6.5, 7 on my end. What
Oh,
do you
wow.
think?
That's nice of you. I didn't hear the episode. If I wasn't here and hearing your side of it, I'd probably I'd give it like a 5.5.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
I'll take it. All right. Well, sorry again. Let's do another one.
Okay. Moving right along. Thank you for taking your lumps. I'm
Yeah.
sure this listener appreciates that too. All right. I will read this last one. I just moments ago had a triggered scenario, and as a subscriber and longtime listener, I immediately thought about writing in. For context, I had a baby almost 2 years ago and have since really struggled with body image and weight. I was always very athletic and thin to average weight my whole life, but postpartum has been really difficult when it comes to getting back to my normal weight and, more importantly, just feeling like myself again. The triggered scenario is this. I've been sniffling and sneezing at work today. With a kid in daycare, I've been sick a lot since the fall. A coworker heard me and asked if I was sick again or if this was just allergies. I explained to her that I've actually been seeing an ear, nose, and throat doctor recently to deal with polyps and often losing my sense of taste and smell. Her reply was simply this. Oh, well, if you can't taste, that's a great opportunity for you to lose some weight. I was so shocked by this comment that I completely shut down and didn't even know how to respond. I just stayed silent. It truly hurt my feelings. I could not tell if this was just the type of comment that you say when you don't know what else to say, or if it was seriously directed toward my own weight. I'm not severely overweight, and this woman didn't even know me or what I looked like 2 years ago pre-baby. So I'm not sure why she would say this to me. Interested to hear your thoughts on this one. Thanks for all you do. A taken aback and tasteless Betch.
That's a crazy comment to make.
Yeah,
But-
I
Sorry.
think it was like almost, I could be wrong, but I think it was almost one of those things like everybody wants to lose weight.
Right.
Like, but we all want to lose a little weight. I don't think it was directed towards her. I think she knows that she gained weight and she's sensitive about it. So it's triggering to her.
I
and
agree. I think she said this because that's how she would think about
Right.
that.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't, for some reason, I don't find this super triggering because I just think it was almost like, I don't know, like sometimes I'll be around parents and they'll make jokes about like, oh, I can't, we're going to get the kids to bed, but you can't wait to like finally be able to like have a couple drinks or something. And I'm like, they're not calling me an alcoholic.
Right.
They don't even know how much I drink. They're just, it's like a cultural thing of like, we all can't wait to be able to like get our kids to bed and like
Right.
let loose.
Well,
Not
maybe if you
personally directed at me.
Right. But maybe if you were struggling with alcohol,
Yes.
you might be like overthinking that and thinking that was directed at you and be pretty self-conscious of it. So I do agree. It's like more about her. And it kind of, I mean, goes back to the GLP-1 discussion about how like there is this feeling of like, of course we all want to lose weight when like, obviously like it would be healthier if that wasn't how everyone thought. I remember
Yeah.
I had like stomach, like food poisoning or stomach, whatever issue, like 2 summers ago. And I was like, it was coming out of all ends. Sorry for the too much information.
Yeah.
I was throwing up all day. I literally like, I thought I was going to die.
Yeah. Oh, awful.
And then I had the Betch's pool party 2 days later. And someone said to me, who I hadn't seen in a while, she's like, you look amazing.
oh gosh.
She goes
Yeah.
like, what are you doing? You look amazing. I'm like, thank you. I just had a stomach bug.
Yes.
I just had the stomach virus 2 days ago, but it's like, it is kind of a messed up thing where then in your head, you're like, what did I look like before? Should I be happy about this? Is this like you know what I mean? Like, and again, I didn't blame her.
Right.
Cause like, also she didn't even know what it was, but it is kind of crazy how like we are ingrained, I think mostly as women, to be like, any opportunity for you to not eat or eat less is like a blessing because we all think about food all the time.
It's so true. It actually makes me sad because I do think there is this, accepted thing of like thinner is better and the losing weight, even if you don't need to, is always like a good thing. And it actually makes me sad. That's why I do think even telling people like commenting on anyone's body at all. Like I really do try not to do that, or like not even to, teach my kids, like just don't comment on someone's body shape, because even if you're saying you look great, and I know a lot of people have this experience, like as teenagers or, adolescents, pre-adolescents, where maybe they lose a little bit of weight and then everyone starts saying, "Oh my God, you look great." Like even not like you look like you lose weight, but you lost weight, but just like, "Oh, you look great." It sends the message of, I better keep this up.
Right.
Like I better not take my foot off the gas.
Positive reinforcement.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm going to rate this a little bit higher because she said that's a great opportunity for you to lose some weight. I think if
Yes.
she had said, "Oh, well, if I would love if I couldn't taste, it would stop me from eating and I could lose weight."
Yes.
I think
Would
if
have
she
been
said that,
better.
that would have still been like a little weird to say, like inappropriate to say. But I think the fact that she said it's a great opportunity, I think just the phrase in any context, that's a great opportunity for you to lose some weight feels
Yes. Yes.
pretty triggering. So I would
Yes.
give this like a 6. I agree. I think I think she's saying it because that's how she would think of it. It's more about her internal feeling about those kinds of things. But I can, if I was struggling with this,
Yeah.
I would totally feel the same way.
Yes. Yeah. Given, her history, and that she knows that she, maybe gained a little bit of weight and wants to lose some. I agree. I don't think it was well said. I would have this person take it back. I don't think it was kind. It was like a foot and mouth situation, but my hunch is that she didn't really mean it that way, because most people almost, I guess this sounds crazy, but you could almost like take it as a compliment, in the sense of like, if you were really that heavy and you really look like you needed to lose that much weight, I don't think she probably would have felt free to say it,
Right.
like
Maybe. I don't know
almost.
her.
Yeah. I mean, look, she could just be a total asshole. But yeah, so I definitely, I agree. The phrasing of like, this is a great opportunity for you to lose some weight definitely is not nice and triggering. So yeah, I'll give it a 5.
I'd give it a little higher even. I'd give it a 6.
Yeah.
All
All
right.
right.
We did it.
We did it. Thank you guys for listening. Send in all the updates. I'd love to hear an update about the car sister-in-law situation, if you have one, if you do end up reaching back out. But yeah, that's our time.